Hello, good morning, and welcome to TRAXXfm. You are with me on W Talk today. Beautiful looking Wednesday, gotta say, and we're talking about civil divorce proceedings with Shahira Ellyana binti Badrul Hisham. She's a legal officer with Jabatan Bantuan Guaman Kuala Lumpur. Welcome to the studio. How are you today?
Thank you very much. Thank you for invitation.
Okay, no problem. And of course, this is my own personal opinion. Of course, after the post-COVID time, there has been a number of divorce increases. The statistics have shown that it has gone up. So today, that is what we're going to be talking about. We start off with what is the meaning of a divorce?
Right. Divorce. Divorce is a termination or dissolution of a marriage between husband and wife pursuant to the law. Which law? The law that we will be focusing today is the Law Reform Marriage and Divorce Act 1976, that is Act 164.
So this is a very, very legal term. Now, let's talk about Act 164 itself. Is Act 164 applicable to every marriage registered in Malaysia?
Act 164 actually is only applicable to non-Muslim. So this act is not applicable to first Muslim and not applicable to any native of Sabah and Sarawak because they have their own native customary law unless they elect or they choose to marry under this act. Right.
Okay, so that would mean any Muslim marriage and also Sabah and Sarawak marriage?
Not applicable.
Not applicable under the Act 164.
Oh, yes. Correct.
Now, is Act 164 applicable to marriage which was solemnized under the customary rites or rituals prior to the enforcement of the Act itself?
All right. The answer is yes. The enforcement date of Act 164 was on 1st March 1982. So the customary rites or ritual marriage which solemnized prior to the enforcement date of the Act are deemed to be valid and registered under this Act, provided that the customary rites or ritual marriage were conducted in a valid and proper manner.
Oh, okay. Which means if it's a legally binding marriage,
yes,
then it will fall under this act.
Yes.
So if it's a civil marriage or of that sort, like they do a ritual about it, but they don't register.
Even though the marriage was held before the act, so after the act have been enforced, it will be acted like the marriage were registered and valid under the act lah.
Okay, so which means it's a blanket law, so everything is covered under it,
Betul.
regardless of the time frame. So even if you got married before 1982, this still applies to you. Now, of course, there is more to talk about. Now, do you have any questions for Shahira Ellyana, who is a legal officer with Jabatan Bantuan Guaman Kuala Lumpur? You can send it via our TikTok page as well if you want to. We are also on Facebook Live. You can send in the questions over there as well, especially if it's pertaining to Act 164. And right now, we are going to be taking a short break. We're going to be listening to a song. We're going to be listening to a song that you requested for, Shahira, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Tracks.
All right.
Hello, welcome back, and yes, we are currently on W Talk. We are talking about civil divorce proceedings with our guest in the studio. She's a legal officer with Jabatan Bantuan Guaman KL, and her name is Shahira Ellyana binti Badrul Hisham. Now, before we went on break, we spoke about Act 164. Let's talk about how a divorce can be obtained under this Act, Shahira. What are the procedures?
There are three types or three ways to obtain a divorce under the Act. Namely, first, divorce on the ground of conversion to Islam. The second way is joint petition divorce. The third way is single petition divorce. So I will go one by one.
Okay.
The first one is divorce on the ground of conversion to Islam. Meaning, if one party to a marriage, either husband and wife, has converted to Islam, then either party can apply for a divorce in the Civil High Court under Act 164. So even though one party has converted to Islam, because the marriage was registered under Act 164, right? So the divorce also can be
done under
the Act 164. So with the application to Civil High Court lah, right? So that is the first one. The second one is the joint petition divorce. Meaning, if husband and wife both agree to dissolve their marriage, they can submit a joint petition, a joint divorce application to the High Court. So the mode of commencement for this joint petition divorce is by petition, and they will be called as petitioners. So both are petitioners. Alright. But there are three preconditions for this application of divorce for joint petition. Joint petition, there are three. First is both parties must have freely consented to the application for divorce. Right?
Both parties.
Both parties consented to divorce. Okay, the second one is proper provision has been agreed for the wife, for the custody of children, and for maintenance and etc.
Oh, this is like alimony and all of that.
Yes. They must agree beforehand lah. Before the application, they send the application. All right. The third precondition is the application of divorce is filed after the expiration of 2 years from the date of their marriage. So they can apply for the divorce after they have been married for 2 years. Before cannot.
Oh, which means they have to be married for 2 years.
Yes.
Then only the application for divorce can go on.
Yes. Why? Why? This is because to prevent a person from rushing into marriage or divorce. Second one, if to prevent them for intentionally conduct a trial marriage, right? The third one is preventing them from escaping the marriage without any attempt of reconciliation.
So you give them a time frame to either work it out, and if they really cannot, send that at 2 year.
Wait for 2 years first, and then baru you can apply for the divorce.
So this is from the registration of marriage.
Yes. This is in the Act.
In the Act itself.
Yes, in the Act itself.
Oh, okay. So on the date from registration of marriage, if they want a divorce, they have to wait a minimum of 2 years.
Minimum of 2 years, but they have exemption. But I'll come to that
in a bit.
Okay, in a bit. Okay. I'll go first to the third way or third type of divorce. That is single petition divorce. All right. This is a situation where one of the parties to a marriage can file a petition for divorce on the ground that the marriage has irretrievably broken down. All right. The mode of commencement will be also by petition, but the parties will be called petitioners and respondent. All right.
Oh, okay.
Not both petitioner because this is single petition. So, what are the reason for divorce? The reason for the application of single petition divorce can be either. There are four. All right. The reason can be only one, two, or all four.
Okay.
Right. So the first one is that the respondent has committed adultery, and the petitioner finds it intolerable to live with the respondent. That's the first one. Second one is that the respondent has behaved in such a way that the petitioner cannot reasonably be expected to live with the respondent. That's the second one. The third one is that the respondent has deserted the petitioner for a continuous period of at least 2 years. That is the third one. The fourth one is that the parties to the marriage have lived apart for a continuous period at least 2 years. Right. Single petition divorce also has a precondition. All right, there are two preconditions. The first one is the divorce application can only be filed after period of 2 years from the date of marriage. Is same as the joint divorce petition, right?
Okay.
But there is an exception.
Which
like I said before, exception. Exception for these 2 years, period 2 years, when there is a case, exceptional circumstances or hardship suffered by the petitioner, then the petitioner can apply to the judge for a divorce before the expiration of 2 years of the marriage. So there must be a hardship or a circumstances that she or he cannot stand, right? All right. So the second precondition, the first one must be 2 years, but with exception. So the second one is either both party or one party need to obtain a certificate from the marriage conciliatory body established by the National Registration Department or Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara, JPN. So meaning that they must undergo some kind of counselling at JPN and then get a certificate that clarifies their situation of marriage before they can file, the petitioner can file a single petition divorce at Civil High Court.
Okay, which means they can try the counselling, they can try going through JPN first.
Yes.
And even through that, if even after that they still want to get a divorce and one person does not want it, they can do a single petition response.
Yes. But not the word is not try, but if you want to apply a single petition, you must go
through counselling.
Yes. And get the certificate
of the JPN. Okay. So it is a must. It is a precondition.
Yes.
Okay. So, and what circumstances would a party exclude exam from referring his or her marriage issues to the marriage conciliatory body, like as you said?
All right. That's a good question because as I said before, the precondition for single petition divorce, there are two, right? First, 2 years. 2 years have exemption. So the second precondition that is a need to get the certificate also has an exemption. So the exemption, there are 6 circumstances. So stay with me.
Yes.
I will list down all 6. So the first one is where the petitioner alleges that he or she has been deserted by and does not know the whereabouts of his or her spouse. That is one. The second one is where the respondent is residing abroad and it is unlikely that he or she will enter the jurisdiction of the court within next 6 months. So the third one is when the respondent has been required to appear before a conciliatory body and has willfully failed to attend. This is the most frequent. People will ask to go to the conciliatory body, but they did not attend for 3 times consecutively. Then they will just get the certificate and say, okay, go to apply for the single petition divorce lah. Right. The fourth one is where the respondent is imprisoned for a term of 5 years or more. The fifth one, where the petitioner alleges that the respondent is suffering from incurable mental illness. Okay, and the last one, where the court is satisfied that there are exceptional circumstances which make reference to a conciliatory body is impracticable. So this is why lah.
Yeah.
Any reason, but this is why this is for the court to interpret.
That is case by case basis.
Yeah, this is for court to interpret at discretion of the court.
And tell you what, well, we're going to take another short break. And once we come back, there is more to talk about. We'll talk about some of the effects once a divorce order has been granted and the such. Of course, we're still on TikTok. If you do have any questions for our guest today, Shahira Ellyana binti Badrul Hisham, who's a legal officer with Jabatan Bantuan Guaman KL, you can definitely send it so. And we will talk more once we come back. Welcome back to Tracks. W Talk Civil Divorce Proceedings is what we are talking about today with Shahira Ellyana binti Badrul Hisham, Legal Officer Jabatan Bantuan Guaman KL. And of course, there are some questions on our TikTok. Now, we will be answering that on TikTok later. But right now, we do have to go on with the questions. What are the effects once a divorce order has been granted, Shahira?
Right, the effect. Of course, both parties are free to remarry again, right? The second one is court will order the terms that have been agreed by both parties regarding, as I said before, maintenance, custody, and assets. That basically it lah.
Okay. And what are the documents required to be filed in a divorce?
All right. Basic document. This is basic documents for divorce. So you must have a copy of IC, marriage certificate, children's birth certificates, if any, certificate issued by the marriage conciliatory body, the SJPN, and other relevant documents lah, based on your application. All right. So that's it.
Okay. And of course, Jabatan Bantuan Guaman. Before we end, how to contact or to get more info about Jabatan Bantuan Guaman?
All right, for more info, all listeners can just come to our office, Jabatan Bantuan Guaman, Kuala Lumpur, at level 28, Menara TH Perdana, Jalan Sultan Ismail, or can call us at numbers 03-2694-2700, and can also visit Jabatan Bantuan Guaman website at www.jbg.gov.my, or check out more at Jabatan Bantuan Guaman official social media accounts, such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Okay. Now, before we end for today, is there anything else that you would like to add for our listeners? And could you please just repeat the number that they could call so that they could get in touch with Jabatan?
Yeah. The number 03-2694-2700.
Okay. And before we end, anything else that you would like to add for our listeners today?
No. But we know that marriage is a sacred ties. So love with all your heart until the end of the day.
Absolutely. Divorce should be only a last option.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Thank you so much, Shahira Ellyana binti Badrul Hisham, for her time today. She's a legal officer with Jabatan Bantuan Guaman KL. And of course, there's a lot to speak about all of this. And right now, we are going to be getting on back with the music. And I'll be back in the next hour, so don't go anywhere.